What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, father, trainer of two division world champion, former junior welterweight unified world champion, and former WBC welterweight world champion, Danny Swift Garcia. His father, Angel Garcia, is never short on words. And now he has a stern message for Danny Garcia's upcoming opponent in undefeated, unified WBC, IBF welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, Errol Spence Jr. Angel Garcia always builds up the fight. He's always the mouthpiece and the promoter, dare I say, for Danny Garcia, his son. And he's never short on confidence when it comes to his son and what his son abilities are and what he's going to do in the ring. Angel Garcia, we've seen him in some sticky situations, to say the least. When he got into a situation with former undisputed multi-division world champion superstar boxer Zab Judah ahead of his showdown with Danny Garcia. We saw Angel Garcia get into a conflict of words with former unified WBC, WBA, welterweight world champion superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman, right? And there's a lot of, controversy that surrounds the words that Angel Garcia says, because Danny Garcia is not a big talker. So they have a perfect relationship when it comes to promoting the sport of boxing. Obviously, they have what seems to be a great relationship, father-son relationship. But when it comes to their promotion of Danny Garcia, they complement each other well. Danny Garcia is not a big talker. He's straightforward, but he's not a big talker, right? He's not a big trash talker. Angel Garcia does all of that for Danny Garcia. And in the recent live he did on his social media, that being Angel Garcia, he stated that they're going to purge on Errol Spence. And if you don't understand, Danny Garcia wears the mask. You see him when he comes to the ring. That's his theme, right? He wears the mask, the purge mask, so on and such, right? It kind of looks like the Jabberwockies mask, but it has the, if you ever saw the movie The Purge, then you will understand where they're coming from. And so he's saying that they're taking these belts. He doesn't care what anybody says regarding Errol Spence. He don't believe he's the same fighter. He don't believe he's durable. He believes that Danny 1,000% is coming back home with that WBC strap and that IBF strap for the first time at welterweight, and will be unified and a two-time welterweight world champion. A lot of people in my mind are putting too much stock, or dare I say, maybe I'm not putting enough stock in the fact that Errol Spence suffered a horrific car accident October 10th, just 12 days after defeating two-time welterweight world champion Showtime Sean Porter in a unification bout to capture the WBC title that Sean Porter beat Danny Garcia for the vacant WBC title. But it seems like a lot of people are putting a lot of stock in this accident and the unknown. And what I mean by the unknown is not knowing what version of Errol Spence we're going to get after that. There were so many different assumptions, and there were so many different reports. So Errol Spence had this injury. Errol Spence had that injury. Errol Spence is not looking the same. Errol Spence, his speech is not the same. Now, if you saw that car and you saw that situation, that accident, for sure it was horrific. Right? Gut-wrenching, to say the least. Absolutely. But Errol Spence, I believe, was a walking miracle with the injuries that he suffered. Now, I don't know to what degree and how far the injuries go. But I'm sure that a lot of people are banking on that as to be the reason why he won't be the same anymore. And I'm not of that mindset. I think it had the opposite effect, the polar opposite effect of what everybody else believes. I personally believe it was a motivator. I personally believe it was a wake-up call. I personally believe that the rest of the welterweight division, it was the worst thing that could have happened. Because I believe that Errol Spence now is counting all his blessings, dare I say, and stating that and looking, and his approach is going to be totally different. His outlook is going to be totally different than it was before. And I believe now Errol Spence is going to, he's already showing his level of dedication is totally different. He already admitted that his approach and his dedication going into the Sean Porter fight, going into the Mikey Garcia fight, wasn't there. And that he had to lose weight the week of the fight. He had to drain himself because he wasn't as dedicated as he was in between fights. He was allowing himself to balloon up in weight. He was allowing himself to indulge too deep into his accomplishments. Meaning that, he was celebrating too much and lost track of what got him there. And started to fall back on his natural abilities. But now, it seems like he has that original hunger before he became a world champion back. Training. Everything you see from Errol Spence today's time is training. Everything you see from Errol Spence, his words, is focus. Now, obviously, we only see what he allows us to see via social media or however you may look at it. But you can see and sense a difference just in his words, right? His dedication. He's in shape right now. Now, I know a lot of people are looking and saying, well, he's lost too much weight right now. Well, maybe that's because we're not used to seeing him in this shape this far out from a fight. So I can see how you could look at that and say, well, he's lost too much weight, too much muscle mass. Now, is this going to be a tough fight between him and Danny Garcia? Absolutely. Danny Garcia is nobody's walk in the park. Danny Garcia is not a unified and two-division champion for no reason. Danny Garcia wasn't handed anything. Actually, Danny Garcia has one of the best resumes in the sport of boxing currently right now. It gets overlooked because he had 2 fights with Rod Salka, and people looked at those fights and said Danny miraculously became a cherry picker. After fighting the Lucas Matises, after fighting the Amir Khan, after fighting the Zab Judas, after fighting Lamont Peterson, he became a cherry picker because he fought a Rod Salka. But everybody wanted him to continue on the path of just fighting grueling fight after grueling fight after grueling fight. Fought the Paulie Malignaggi's. See, people don't remember Lucas Matisse, the Machine, was the boogeyman in the junior welterweight division when he fought him. That was a 50-50 fight. A lot of people thought Danny Garcia was going to lose to Lucas Matisse, especially on the big stage. Canelo Alvarez, Floyd Mayweather, co-main event. And he showed up big time, showed up and showed out, and took everything, showed his durability. He took Lucas Matisse's big punches. Everybody thought he was going to get outclassed by Amir Khan. So, absolutely, Danny Garcia is not nobody's walk in the park. Danny Garcia is a seasoned veteran. Danny Garcia has a high ring generalship. The problem with Danny Garcia with most people is Danny Garcia has no special effects. What you see is what you get from Danny Garcia. No flash, no flair. His approach is very basic. He's just heavy-handed in both his hands. He's not one-dimensional when it comes to his punching power. He has punching power on both hands, right and left. Danny Garcia doesn't have the flash and the flair and the speed of a Floyd Mayweather or Amir Khan or Gary Russell Jr. right? He doesn't have the foot movement and the foot mobility of a Terrence Crawford and, guys like that. Manny Pacquiao, Keith Thurman, right? He doesn't have the power and well, he has the power, excuse me. He doesn't show the ability to just break you down and stop you like Errol Spence Jr. But he does have a lot of power, right? So with that said, this is definitely going to be a hard-fought fight for Errol Spence, but I'm expecting Errol Spence to win this fight 8 rounds to 4. But if it's a little closer, would I be surprised? No. But I think a lot of people are overlooking Errol Spence, and they're harping on the fact that he suffered that horrific car accident on October 10th. And I think a lot of people are shortchanging Errol Spence because it's the unknown. You understand? It's the unknown. You don't know what he's going to display in the ring. But I feel like Errol Spence is going to show an even better version of Errol Spence than we've seen in the past, because I feel like Errol Spence is committed more outside the ring. So I can't wait November 21st for this showdown to come to fruition. Like I said, 8 rounds to 4 for me. I think Errol Spence wins this fight. This is nothing new coming from Angel Garcia, saying that they're going to purge and they're going to take his belt, so on and so forth. But I think this is more of a motivator, a motivational factor for Errol Spence than anybody else Danny Garcia has ever faced. I think this is not going to get in Errol Spence's head. It's not going to get him off his square. You understand? That's what Angel Garcia seems to, his game plan is to get guys off their square. Not to say that he don't have the confidence in his son, because I do believe he has the confidence in Danny Garcia 1,000%. He believes he's going to win this fight. But also a part of it is strategy to get in Errol Spence's head and Danny Garcia's opponent's head, to get them to come on the inside and stare toe-to-toe with Danny Garcia, because he's not the most fleet-footed guy in the sport of boxing. So if you use ring generalship and you use the ring and your mobility in your legs, it makes it very, very difficult for Danny Garcia, because he's flat-footed and at times his feet could look like he's stuck in sand. So this is a ploy, I believe, part of the reason it's a strategy, to get his opponents to come forward, to play into his strength, to fight him on the inside. That's his strength, because he has power in both hands. So it doesn't matter which one he lands with. He's going to do damage with either hand. But that won't be the case, I believe, with Errol Spence. He won't be rattled. He won't be lured into fighting Danny Garcia's fight. I believe he'll force Danny Garcia to fight his fight, the ultimate chess match. And I can't wait. But like I said, I'm expecting Errol Spence to win 8 rounds to 4. But let me know what y'all think. Drop a comment in the comment section. That's all I got for y'all. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Buzz Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Buzz Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.